Being bored can be either amazing or terrible. And here's why. So, usually, when people hear about being bored or they're bored themselves, it's usually in a negative light, but not like in a terrible negative light. It's just kind of a more of an annoyance that you're sitting around, either you're at work and you're not doing work at the time and you have nothing distracting you, and you're just like, I need some kind of interaction. Or it's a weekend, and, it's like Saturday at 11 a.m. and nothing on TV, no one around, nothing to do, and you're like, I gotta find something to do. Usually, it's a form of stress that is very just mild. That it's like I gotta just find some kind of stimulus. But personally, myself, I rarely ever feel bored. First reason is because my current job, I'm just always working, so I don't have that time to just be bored. um, and also too, on my free time, I just have so many things I have to do, and if I'm not doing the things I need to do, there's a lot of things I want to do. I just have a list in my head that I it's never ending, and I'm just rarely ever just sitting around like, wow, like I have nothing to do. I need some kind of stimulus. No, it's never that. It hasn't been like that since I don't even remember. And I was talking to my friend about this recently, like that he got bored on the weekends, and I told him like I don't feel bored. And he said like, "Oh, that must be nice." But that got me thinking like, like there is very good and very bad about being bored, and I'll explain what it is. Um, so there's the good part about being bored, which I thought in my head about what I kind of miss about having that boredom, is just that time to just think and experiment. That in your head, like when you have nothing else to do, no stimulus, those are the moments where you're going to have the most creativity. Pure, unfiltered creativity in your head. Because even if you're listening to music, you're watching a TV show, you're looking at images on your phone, anything like that, or talking to someone, you're just receiving information in your head. You're just constantly receiving stimuli, and your brain is not going to have full attention on, just thinking or developing ideas or putting things together. It's only when you're just sitting alone, and that's when you that's when you finally having those deep thoughts. And funny enough, a lot of people are scared of that, and I'm not saying for bad reason, but I think it's healthy for you to be able to sit alone in a room by yourself and just be alone with your thoughts. In the long run, that's a good thing, because that's when you get your best ideas and your creativity, especially if you are a very artistic person, or even if you're a very like analytical person, you're trying to figure out a problem. Just being bored, like that's when you can really figure things out. You'll make connections and see patterns that you previously didn't, or come up with brand new ideas, or remember something really old that like, oh, I want to use this now. That's when you get good ideas. Um, but that's the part I personally miss. That I always have something I want to do, and I do have those moments of just thinking in my head or daydreaming, or just sometimes I have a whiteboard up there and I just use it to write down my ideas, and that's very helpful. But sometimes I wish I just had those more of those moments where like, wow, like I did everything I had to do. I'm complete. Like I have nothing else to do right now. I'll just relax. But unfortunately, I don't. Especially with this channel, because there's always more to do and always I want to do. So it's a lot more difficult. Um, Now, the other side about being bored, everyone knows why. That's hopefully I showed you why being bored could be good. But there's a secret terrible thing about being bored as well, which is quite the opposite of my predicament of not just having nothing to do in the moment, but having nothing to do in the future. That you have nothing else going on, right? If you go to work and you come home and that's all you got, like your life is content and fine, and come a day, you have a day off and sit around in the morning and you're just watching TV and the TV's kind of boring. You watch the same show over and over again and you're like, wow, like nothing's going on. I'm just bored out of my mind. That's it's not good. And the reason why is because your life is not fulfilling. Well, you might be fulfilled, but with what you have, you're satisfied, but your life is kind of empty if you're feeling that a lot. That you, there's a lot of people out there who really need hobbies or other interests and just interest in the world, but just haven't took the time to either explore or develop them, and they became a kind of a dull person. Could be especially this especially happens when you're particularly obsessed about something. Like a lot of people are obsessed about money. I just got to get a good job, right? Just work at my job, or they become obsessed with like a relationship or some other kind of project. And when that thing is done, or like say you got the sweet gig, or the project you've finished building whatever you're doing, or just you temporarily can't do it, like that's when you start realizing like I have a I have a very simple like just one thing life where it's not filled with it's fulfilled by that one thing, but I don't have anything else, or I don't have much else. And that's when you start to realize the benefit of having a life of variety, that you have a lot of different interests. I'm going to use myself, for example. I feel like I have a lot of variety of interests. Like, say, I give myself a week. I'm not allowing myself to work on my YouTube channel. I can't record videos. I can't work on Rafib, I can't animate all that stuff. I feel like I would have a lot of other areas of interest I can go. You know, I like video games. I don't play as much as I used to. I like video games. I love watching cartoons and anime. I like wrestling. I like football. I love learning about history. I love science. I love to learn. That's who I am. I love to learn. And even if I'm not interested in that moment, there are things I want to learn in the future. Like I know, like I want to learn coding. That's something I'm interested in. I want to learn, about cars. That's something else I'm interested in. So I feel like in my free time, if I want something engaging to do and the usual things I go to aren't there, I have other avenues. I have other ways to learn. I have other ways to just build or make new things. Like I'm an artistic person. I want to make new drawings or paintings, which I unfortunately don't have the time for because I'm doing other things. And that's something that can be frustrating because I don't have much time to do what I want. It's like, oh, a whole another year of not making like making a new painting, or learn a whole another year that I didn't learn this subject. But in a way, I'm now more happy about that because I always have something else. And when I get something done, I'm always adding more. Like that's more I want to do, more and more. And I think that's actually good, right? It's good to take those times to be bored and just think and don't have anything else on the agenda. Take the time to just contemplate your life or other things in your life, and also have that never-ending to-do list, right? Is I feel like once you hit that time where you sit down, we're like, oh, like I'm writing, and like, oh, I've finished my to-do list. Everything I wanted to do in my life is done, and it's like, what else? At that point, I feel like that's the time to die. I feel like even when I get to my old age, I'm still gonna want to learn and do more, and not just on simplistic, superficial things like say video games or TV, but things that are much more experiences and people, not so much things. So think about this in your own life. Like, am I bored a lot? If you're bored a lot, it probably means you need to fill your life with something else. It could be something fun or productive. It just has to be something else. And explore. Don't be afraid to like try something new. Like you asked me like 5 years ago, I would never believe that I would like wrestling. I always thought it was stupid. Like, oh, it's phony stuff that like kids like. And now I'm like, wow, I didn't see like how interesting this is. It's whole art and like fascinating, you know? And that could be for you, you know? 10 years ago, I would never thought I'd been an athletic person, but now I'm like top 10% of the population. That's something that's, you know, you never know it yourself. And if you aren't bored like me, You might consider, like, am I taking the time just to think? And am I doing too much at once? And those moments can be incredibly valuable. So kind of figure out how you can apply this to your life, and you know, celebrate boredom, but also be careful of it. All right. So thanks for watching.